Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show here on a beautiful snowy day here in Boise, Idaho, and joined by an incredible musician and record producer, Rob Matson. Welcome back to the Jake Feinberg Show. How you doing?
Good. Nice to see you again.
You too, brother. You know, I just wanted to talk to you as we head into a new year, where you want to grow the most as a person or player.
Oh boy, you know what? I would love to be able to. I've been playing in bands my whole life, and I've never really pursued the route of doing a solo. So I would love to get.
You mean
to
as a
the
leader?
As just a guy playing his guitar and singing some songs.
Okay. Yeah, solo. Yeah, got it.
Solo, you can't hear it. I mean, but yeah, I would like to be able to do that. And so I've got to sit down and really, my daughters joke at me because I know like the first three lines of about the 10,000 songs, but to actually be able to finish the songs would be really great for me. And I'd like to be able to, I like being a sideman, but I'd also like to be able to just sit down and play a whole night.
Would you envision like doing kind of solo acoustic or have a trio behind you?
I'd like to be able to do just solo acoustic, yeah. And once you can do that, then you can, you get people to sit in with you and, that sort of thing. I'm that guy that sits in with people for the most part.
You would be you consider yourself an accompanist.
Yeah.
What have been, we were talking before off air, just sort of about, being 18, cats like, yo, you want to go on the road? You're like, I had a Les Paul and an amp, and you went, you kind of never looked back. But if you were going to talk to cats about the keys to being a good accompanist and a hireable person, what would those things be?
I would say be reliable.
What does that mean?
That means if you say you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, make sure you do that. Keep yourself healthy so that you don't get sick and you have to skip gigs. Work on your instrument all the time, and be as good a player as you can and play well with others. And
be able to be like a cool person to be with.
Definitely,
because it's hard to deal with drama on the road.
Yeah, and there will be.
Can you talk about working with Wayne Moss and Lloyd Green in Nashville? I take those two guys. Those are two guys that are on my hit list for 24 for the interview. And,
Wayne Moss.
Break them both down.
Wayne Moss, I never, unfortunately, never really got to work with him, but I did spend a day with him in the studio. He came to observe with a friend of his that was working with me. So
really,
I did get to sit and talk to him and got a copy of his book signed and that sort of thing, which was a thrill for me. And Lloyd Green, I did a couple of sessions with. And it just was amazing for when he would walk in the room, the reverence that he commanded from all the other players. Just the way they respected him, and but he was totally humble, completely humble, and he was like self-deprecating.
Right. All the cats that get the most respect are like that.
They are like that, and his tone was incredible, beautiful tone. Just the easiest thing to mix. Yeah, it just was a thrill for me because I'm so aware of what he's done, in his life.
Was it? Do you remember if one of the sessions was where everybody was hitting together, or was he in there strictly overdubbing?
Both of them were 7-piece band live.
Wow, I'd love you to talk about. You talk about like his ability to just play a part.
Yeah, that Lloyd Green tone. It's just unmistakable. Beautiful tone and choice of notes. It wasn't like there's so many great players in Nashville. They're all really, really good. And part of the thing was just knowing who Lloyd Green was, what he's done, and being thrilled that he was there. But the thing is that didn't disappoint. He didn't disappoint. He actually delivered exactly what you'd hope.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like the original Wrecking Crew down there.
Yep. And everybody in the band felt the same way as I did. You're just lucky to be able to, do a session with their hero from a previous generation.
Rob, have you been in a situation as a producer where, maybe a band comes in and, I don't want to say they hit a clam, but something is not entirely perfect, but it feels really good, and you were able to convince the cats that should be the take? What I'm saying is I think that's kind of a lost art, is the ability to say, no, we don't need to do this again. Like we got it. And even if it's not, quote unquote, there is no, what I'm trying to say is there's no right way. And I think it's a lost art to say, I've talked to other producers who were working with musicians who were like, I can do a better take. I can do a better take. I can do a better. It's like, actually, that was that felt good. You talk about a time in your career, something along those lines where you were able to, as a producer, say, guys, this is the hot take. We don't need to do anymore.
Well, one really good thing about recording digitally is that you can do multiple takes, and it's
right.
cheap. With tape, it's expensive to do because you're eating up real estate. And tape was expensive.
I know.
And if you burn over, the previous take, you could go ahead and record one after it. But if you may your budget may not support that much tape. So once we started working digitally, you could do as many takes as you want. And you're right.
Maybe going back in the old school when you only were working with tape at a certain time in your career, where you just were like, to me, like that's the magic of the music I love. It's not about being sloppy.
I think that people used to be more likely to take more likely to keep that take in those days because it was tape. And it became more of a temptation to do more takes as you were able to once digital came along.
More tracks, exactly.
More options, which down the road you got to figure out which option you're going to keep. And so tape was good for that paradigm of realizing that this take is really good. Don't get rid of it because somebody did one thing. And the other thing about that is in Nashville, the studio players are so good, they kind of know when they've got it.
Right.
They're not, so there are players who are perfectionists and will do they'll say, well, give me one more time on the solo, but you always keep the one, you keep the one that you like.
And of course you have the technology to be able to keep it.
And then they know that you're probably going to keep that one and use it, but they want to take
They
one
want to
more
do it
time.
again.
So you go, that's fine.
I just would love you to talk about your relationship with Muzzy Braun.
Oh man, yeah, Muzzy.
Because Muzzy is to me like the granddaddy of Idaho music.
I think I probably met Muzzy for the first time maybe 1980, and I was aware of him before that because he and his brothers had the Braun Brothers band. For a while, it was all three of them: Gary, Billy, and Muzzy. And then it was just Gary and Muzzy, and they would just do a duo. Muzzy playing acoustic guitar and Gary playing drums, singing harmony.
Are you kidding? Yeah, you told me this. This is so great.
They would do a duo, and they would pack a place without a bass player or a guitar player. It would just be Muzzy strumming along and Gary playing the drums and the harmonica and singing harmony. And so it was like, but people didn't care. They were out there swing dancing to this really cool duo that was on stage, and I've just always thought Muzzy he personifies Idaho swing music, Idaho country music, and he's just
because it's not Nashville country music.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's high mountain, high country music.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And Muzzy is such a good person, just great karma. He and his wife Joanne have raised 4 incredible boys, and they're all the third generation of a music family, So I just treasure that friendship for sure.
You had an opportunity to record his music or actually play with him?
Yeah, I've played with Muzzy quite a few times, just in get-together situations, and recorded a bunch of albums for him and his boys when they were young, the little Braun brothers. We did like a Christmas album.
That must have been great when they were just young before they really got out on their own.
They just have always been the best kids, and that was back when I had my own studio here in Boise.
Right.
And
in the 80s.
Yeah, they would come down from the mountain and stay with us while we recorded. Sometimes they'd stay in a hotel. It was always a big deal for them because we had a TV.
I love this stuff.
They didn't
I'm
have
freaking loving this stuff.
I remember working with Mickey Braun. He was probably, might have been about that big at the time, and we were working on his harmony parts on a song, and he was in the booth, and he finally said to his dad, he said, "Hey, Dad." And Muzzy goes, "What, Mickey?" And he said, "How long is this going to take anyway?" And Muzzy said, "Well, I'm not sure." And Mickey, "Why?" Well, because Gunsmoke comes on at 5:30, and I don't want to miss it.
And we got a TV here.
Yeah, we had TV, so it was kind of a treasure for him. But yeah, it was still go way back to early '80s, working with those kids, and they were always pros.
One final thing before I let you go. A guy I'm going to meet up with later tonight. I've got a string of interviews today. You're starting it off in fine fashion. Is Jake DeJong.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about playing with Jake? Because to me, it's what I marvel about. I don't care if it's Tucson, where I live, or Boise here. And I think you've just had an arc of history longer than me. It's just every town has so many ridiculous musicians.
Yeah,
and
they're everywhere.
There's not enough places to play.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about Jake.
Jake is such a natural musician. He's he's one of those people that, and he's got the gift. He's got all the gifts. He's got the hands. He's got the ear.
Right.
But he's also got the enthusiasm.
I love it. The spirit.
The spirit. He's so enthusiastic about music. I just love it. And we've been getting together some. I've been giving him what you might call lessons. It's just really a chance for me to kind of sit and talk to another guitar player about music.
I love it.
So yeah, we've only really played together maybe once or maybe twice, but he sat in for our steel player when he couldn't make it one night, and he's a great.
He pulled it off. He did great.
Oh yeah, he did great.
No, he's good, man. I mean, the cats from Brooklyn that he was sort of looked up to too. They high praise for him. So the more times you get a chance to play, the better.
Yeah,
And,
he's a great guy and a really really strong musician.
Rob Matson, bless you, brother, into the new year. Continued success, continued health, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it.
It's the Jake Feinberg Show. See you later.